there! Today we are looking at embroidery by numbers, which I hadn't heard of until I saw this in a W.H. Smith sale. W.H. Smith's is quite an old-fashioned bookstore, I'm going to call it, but it does other things, stationery, little bit of haberdashery type kits, gifts and things. It is quite old-fashioned though, but it came into probably my Facebook feed or something, and it had a sale on, so I had a look, and this was one of the things. It's called Embroidery by Numbers. It's a kit. I thought it was a cute little cactus kit, quite trendy, quite of the moment, but I was intrigued about the by numbers bit, whether this is just a gimmick and it's actually just going to be like any other kit, or whether it's going to be a bit more like painting by numbers. So the kit contains plastic hoop, thread, stitching fabric, needles, threader and instructions. So everything you would expect from a normal kit. It's a small plastic hoop. It has a screw, so that's always what I'm looking for. Seems like a good fit, so I think that's going to be a nice little hoop to work with. It has some nice pretty colours. It's great when the thread is organised like this. You've got a card, you've got numbers on it, it's all separated out, you've got exactly what you need. 2 needles and a needle threader. Not sure how to use these needle threaders. I know it's a needle threader. I would have to double check how to use it, but I'm perfectly happy to be educated on that. Small fabric design. I don't know if you can see. I'm going to bring it closer. But there are numbers printed on the fabric. And let's have a look at the instructions. A nice big picture of the finished piece. Very clear the colours you need even without the numbers really. It has some suggestions for stitches. Satin stitch and long and short, and that is all it is saying that you need. The diagram overleaf shows which colours to use to create the design for your embroidery. The design can be made up of satin stitch or long and short unless otherwise indicated. 2 strands of thread should be used for this design. See the following page for the diagram showing how to create this design. So actually it's saying you don't need both stitches, either or. I prefer long and short, I find it easier, so I think I'd probably do the whole design in long and short. There are quite a few different colours, so I think you would get enough variation of the detail in one stitch. And I think it makes it quite an easy kit, just doing one stitch for everything. So I'd definitely say this is a beginner kit. Now, I'm not sure the numbers are necessary. I think it probably is a little bit gimmicky and selling to beginners, which is fine. It might help some people. I think the picture and the coloured coded thread is probably enough to guide most people. The design itself is quite a lot smaller than the picture, and you can see sometimes the numbers all the way down here are not very clear, so you would have to, if you were following the numbers, look at the picture. So I'm going to give this a go. I will let you know if I use the numbers at all or whether I'm just using the colour guide and the numbers are a bit of a red herring. Here is the finished embroidery by numbers kit. I think it's looking pretty cute. So originally I was thinking of doing it all in long and short stitch, but I decided to add some variety. So you can see I've done some satin stitch because I wanted the pots to look different from the texture of the plants. I've done some really long stitches here, which work really well, and then the shorter vertical stitches too. For this plant pot here, I actually changed the colour. It was meant to be the same colour as this, but this is actually two different colours, but really it gets very lost. They're too similar in colour, and I didn't want that plant pot to get lost as well. You would think that this colour and this colour, they do look quite different together as 6 strands, 6 and 7, but once you're doing single strands, the tone is just so similar. We've kind of lost definition on this plant, which is a bit of a shame. I've also done some French knots. I think these work really well for the little bobbly bits on this cactus. Some lazy daisies here at the top of these cactuses, some straight stitch and more lazy daisy and French knots here. On the whole, I think the kit is really cute. It's a very modern design and it's turned out really well. The materials are pretty good quality, called Simply Make Craft Kits, which I got from WH Smith's. But the question is, how did the numbers work? This is the design, and it is helpful having the numbers matching up with the numbers of the coloured strands, and then they've sorted all the strands for you with the numbers, so that is really helpful, especially for a beginner. However, the printed numbers on the actual fabric, you can see there's a big size difference, so the numbers were really kind of squashed, and in a lot of places I couldn't actually see very clearly what the number was meant to be, so it wasn't that helpful on the material. And what also would have been good is perhaps the finished embroidered piece, because you've just got the idea of the pattern and the colours, and it's really nice when you see someone else has actually done the embroidery. So there's a couple of little points there that I would have had slightly different, but on the whole I think this is quite a good beginner's kit. It's quite small, so it's quite manageable. You can just use the stitches that you enjoy doing and it would work out fine. You could do it all in the same stitch, long and short or satin stitch. So on the whole, I was pretty happy with this kit.